Kamala Harris is getting ignored by America's governor, Ron DeSantis. And so she was stopped at the airport and asked about it, and she went off.
President, Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
All right, she's saying that Ron DeSantis, Governor Ron DeSantis, is involved in political gamesmanship instead of putting the people he was voted to represent first. She said this, by the way, as she was getting on an airplane to do the Howard Stern show. Governor DeSantis needs to put the people first. Now, excuse me, I'm going to New York to hang out with Howard Stern, known racist and sex shock jock, because somebody in my campaign said, well, it would be good for my campaign. I don't know if you know anything about Ron DeSantis, but Ron DeSantis, that guy doesn't mess around. Ron DeSantis, he doesn't mess around. Yes, he's gotten some bad advice. Sure, he probably shouldn't have run for president. But when it comes to the state of Florida, this guy was born in Florida, bred in Florida, raised in Florida. This guy served the military as a representative of Florida. He served in Florida's 6th district. And then he came back and he became the governor of Florida. Not once, but twice. And the second time he ran, he won in a landslide. I mean, it was a landslide. Charlie Crist didn't even, that guy, I mean, it made your head spin. We were in the middle of nowhere, Florida, at the Kat Cammack, Representative Kat Cammack victory celebration. And I was hosting and I was talking to the coordinators. I was talking to Kat, and she goes, just whenever we get returns, just go up on stage and announce the returns. We'll start getting some returns early, and probably we'll know about the governor's race by like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. 7:25. 25 minutes after the polls closed, we knew that Governor Ron DeSantis beats Charlie Crist by it was ridiculous, like 800,000 votes, some ridiculous number of votes. This guy knows Florida. This guy represents Florida. This guy fights for Florida. And anybody who tries to say otherwise is not only lying to you, but they are picking a fight with the wrong person, because Ron DeSantis also doesn't back down. Here is what Ron DeSantis said to Sean Hannity after Kamala's comments about him politicizing Hurricane Milton.
We've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional.
Delusional. That's a great way. That's a really great way to describe Kamala Harris. Delusional. But wait, he didn't even stop there. He knew he had an open platform and he had some things to say, and he was feeling that. He was like, look, I've had enough of this lady. I am anyone who sits there and says I'm ignoring their phone calls. This is just ridiculous.
She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts.
She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts, or ... anything else. She has never contributed anything. Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida. I mean, there's storms every year. This is not a new thing. If you're governor of Florida for 4 years, if you're one term, you're going to handle at least 2, maybe 3 storms. We're in our 2nd storm this season. And Ron DeSantis knows what he's doing. He knows what's up. And Kamala Harris, he says, in the 6 years that I've been governor, has never contributed anything. She needs to understand her role. Know your role. He literally pulls out the rock on her.
She has no role in this.
Yeah, she has no. You better know your role, Madam Vice President, because you have no role here in the hurricane preparedness efforts and relief efforts in Florida. In fact, you don't apparently have a role in the hurricane relief efforts in North Carolina either, because those people are begging for your help. They're begging for FEMA. They're begging for you to send them something other than $750 that they can't spend because there's no stores. There's no Amazon. There's no internet. There's nothing. The only thing they have are the things that hardworking American patriots, private citizens, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump have delivered. Joe Biden flew over the joint, causing a backup in the airspace while they were trying to rescue people. And you've done nothing but go on the Call Her Daddy BJ Sex podcast, Howard Stern, The View, and yes, of course, as an added bonus, let's throw in Stephen Colbert as well. But she did take a minute in between all of those political interview jaunts to stop and criticize Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis is like, lady, you picked a fight with the wrong person.
She has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign.
Again, it seems like just bad advice. It seems, I mean, again, I've never run for anything. That's a lie. That's a lie. I ran for student body president in 4th grade, and I lost. I ran for something else once and I won, but I immediately regretted it because it was a horrible job. But anyway, I'm kind of a behind the scenes guy. I like to talk about people. I'm the guy that likes to talk about the job and not actually do the job. But the fact of the matter is, Ron DeSantis is like, look, she's campaigning on this. She's campaigning on Hurricane Milton. And I don't know why she's picking on Ron DeSantis. He's not in the race. Ron DeSantis is sitting here buckling down for what's going to be a deadly, devastating, horrible storm. It's clearing out the entire state of Florida. It's wiping out a lot of businesses and homes. Lots of folks today are leaving homes that they're not going to be coming back to ever. And they don't even know it yet. And Kamala Harris is out there talking smack about the governor who's trying to get them to peacefully leave the state in an orderly fashion so that he can save lives and whatever personal property he can. Man, she really is she's not just a horrible politician. She's a horrible person, isn't she? Wow.
She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
Oh, she's trying to blunder into the storm when we're working it just fine. Kamala Harris is like one of those people that has no idea what to do when there's important work to do. You know, like they just kind of bop in. They go, can I help? What are you guys doing over here? Can I help? What do you got? Do you need my help over here? No? Okay. All right, fine. And then they just go in the corner and they kind of mope like nobody wants my help. You know, it's because we know that if you come in here, you're going to slow us down or just screw it all up. We let the big boys play. You know, let the men handle this one, lady. And that's not misogynistic. It's just the truth. If Kamala Harris were a dude, I still wouldn't want her anywhere near this storm. If Kamala Harris were a dude, she'd still be horrible. In fact, Kamala Harris is a dude in the form of Tim Walz.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
And I wouldn't want him anywhere near the storm either. The two of them together are the worst pairing of political pablum ever. They're the worst political pair I've ever seen. It's amazing. They're the Dumb and Dumber of American politics.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
At times? How about all the times?
Is Tim Walz a moron?
The answer is yes. And so is Kamala Harris, because she's picking, even CNN. CNN has Republicans and Democrats on their panel. They finally agree on one thing. This is amazing. Kamala Harris got the CNN Democrats and the CNN Republicans to agree on one thing, that she's a horrible candidate and that she's overplaying her hand and that she shouldn't be politicizing this hurricane. Listen to this.
I mean, she's attacking the governor of a state that's about to get lashed with one of the most historic hurricanes we've ever seen. Is she crazy? He did not ignore her call.
She was
He did not
talking,
ignore
just to
her
be
call.
clear, she was talking broadly about the politicization of the storms.
I think she was talking about Ron DeSantis. He did not ignore her call. And in fact, according to what I've read tonight, he actually spoke to the president of the United States.
He did
Joe
speak
Biden.
with President Biden.
And he has said time and again that he and the federal government are working well together. So who here is politicizing this?
Yeah,
Harris.
I hate to agree with Scott on anything, but I agree. I agree in this case.
I mean, there's not one person on CNN who can actually say Ron DeSantis is in the wrong in this situation. Kamala Harris is set up. She's set up to win, and she loses constantly. She's the person who, I mean, I don't know, just drops the ball in the end zone. I mean, she flubs the punt. I don't even know if there's a sports reference that really explains just how bad Kamala, if she were a NASCAR driver, she would be turning right. That's how, and if you know anything about NASCAR, Kamala Harris would be like, do I turn right here? Yeah, right into the wall. My son is a big history buff. Loves history. He's been in history competition. You know how they have like science fairs? He did a history fair. He won. He got to go to the nationals. He went to the University of Maryland with kids from all over the country and competed on behalf of the state of Florida. Really, I mean, he loves history. And maybe I had a little small part in that because I also enjoy American history. He likes all history. I really don't care about like Europe and Asian stuff, but he's like, if it's old, I love it. He loves old stuff, antiques, everything. And we were reading this article, but there was this article that came out about 4 or 5 months ago about the lack of history proficiency in middle schoolers. Why? COVID lockdowns. After the COVID lockdowns, after Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Tim Walz and all these other Democrat governors from all over the country, after these people locked students out of schools, forced them to stay home, forced them not to go and learn with their teachers and their classmates in an environment that is, well, conducive to learning. After that, wouldn't you know it, that their proficiency in American history and civics plummeted. Keep in mind that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden don't really want the younger generation to know the truth about American history and civics because they don't like the way that the American political system works. They don't really like the Electoral College, so why would they teach it to kids? They don't really like the history that the founding fathers were all these rich white dudes, many of them slave owners, so they're trying to revise it and change it and turn it into the 1619 Project to say the United States of America really began when the first slave ships landed. They want you to think that Christopher Columbus was a terrible person and that when we celebrate Columbus Day next week, we're all just heathens that are going to HE double hockey sticks. Anyway, so that's why they don't like to teach history. And that's why, get this, 87% of middle schoolers after COVID failed basic American history questions. They failed basic. They were not proficient in American history where they should have been, where their predecessors were before COVID. So my son said, you know what I think I want to do? I said, what? He goes, I think I want to write a history book for middle schoolers. And I thought to myself, that's fantastic. I know a little bit about that. And I said to him, I go, do you want me to like write a foreword or a preface or something? He goes, no. I go, do you want me to record the audio book? He goes, no. And I go, okay, fine. So he wrote a book. Look at this. This book is called 50 Facts About America. It's shiny. It's a shiny book. Every middle schooler must know. And it's great. It's 50. Look, there's a full color image and a little blurb. And this just teaches you all of and he picked these out himself. It starts, look, the French and Indian War. That's important. That's an important one. He wrote this. He made these images. They're all AI images, but they're great. He talks about the Boston Massacre, which I guarantee a lot of middle schoolers probably don't know about, but it was a turning point in American history. The Battle of Trenton. I mean, look at, and he goes through and it goes all the way through. There's the Great Depression as we get to 41. And then it goes all the way through the new millennium with, look at that, the current situation, 9/11, Barack Obama, all that kind of stuff. And it's 50 pages, 50 facts about America, real facts about real America, and 50 illustrations. So he created this book and we launched it yesterday. But here's the thing. He decided he was originally going to take some of the proceeds and donate it to a children's educational charity. And I said, that's a good idea. You can take like 10% or 15%. He goes, yeah, and I'll donate it back to a children's, because there's a lot of educational charities out there that try to solve the problem of children's, educational deficits. But then Hurricane Helene hit. and he's watching all of this stuff going on, and he's watching all of the FEMA ridiculousness and how the president of the United States and the vice president of the United States are basically ignoring the situation. And he's seeing all these people help, and he's seeing Samaritan's Purse come to the rescue. And he says, you know what I think I want to do instead? I think I would like to donate the money not to the educational charity, but to Samaritan's Purse, to hurricane relief for Helene. So what he decided to do, we talked about it a little bit. What he decided to do was we put up his website yesterday. And look at this. He's going to donate 100% of the proceeds to benefit Hurricane Helene through Samaritan's Purse, which is the Franklin Graham charity. Now here's what this means. When you buy a book, he'll pay for the book. The book costs it's an expensive book. It's a shiny. It's like $10, $12. He'll pay for the book, and then everything else that he makes, he's going to send to Samaritan's Purse for the first 2 weeks. And yesterday, I was so impressed. I was so proud. I was so excited that what I did was I sent out an email. I sent out a Patriot dispatch. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I was like, guys, you got to hear about my son. My son's doing more for hurricane relief than Kamala Harris is. And so I sent out the email, and I woke up this morning. We'd already sold like 50 of these books. It's incredible. So if you want a copy, look, it's all right here. You can see there he is. He talks about how it was written by a high school senior specifically for middle school students. He goes in and says, important, from October 7th to October 20th, I will donate 100% of the proceeds from this book to Samaritan's Purse to help the victims of Hurricane Helene. And he's got a little bit more of it here. And then you just click. You can get the book. It's very important you put in your details, but it's very important you can choose. You can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many you want. The more you buy, the more you help. And it's only $21.95. There's shipping involved because we're not paying for the post office. There's shipping involved. And then all the money from now until October 20th will go to the hurricane. We'll go to hurricane relief. So we're super proud of him. And also the book's amazing. Like even if it wasn't another way to help hurricane victims, it's a great book. And if you know a middle schooler or even like a younger kid, if you get them a good start, any kid really is going to love this book. 50 Facts About America. Every middle schooler must know. It's my son's way of helping with the American history. And again, I read it, I edited it, I made sure it was the real American history. And we're good to go. The website is www.50factsaboutamerica.com. I don't know if one of the mods can put that in the links. www.50factsaboutamerica.com. Oops, there's Spotify. And then I also put it in the link to this. I'll put it in the description of the video. So if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you can kind of see it up there. But go get one for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll see how it goes. But it's like I said, very proud shout out to my son for what he did.